You guys have just done some scouting. I'm sure you've done some reflection on yesterday's game. I suppose what were the takeaways for you guys as you head into the game against Namibia tomorrow?
Yeah, we obviously reflected on yesterday, Scotland. Yeah, it was a pretty good game, built massively by that partnership between Guppy and Glenn Phillips. And yeah, it was a pretty good wicket. So now we obviously move on to Sharjah, where it's a completely different wicket, different team, Namibia. Like you said, we did our scouting before. See what works, what we're trying to do against them, and ultimately come out ready tomorrow.
Yeah, just on your own bowling so far, you've been sort of sliding under the radar, going pretty economically without potentially taking the wickets, but I suppose they've been picked up by the other bowlers. How are you sort of seeing your role in the bowling lineup?
Yeah, obviously we're as a collective we've been going pretty good as a unit. I guess as a spinner, me and Ish, we're two different bowlers. I'd say he's probably the more aggressor, and I guess if my role is to deny runs, it kind of forces the big shot at the other end. And we've seen Ish get the wickets. He's bowled extremely well, so I'm pretty happy just kind of floating under the radar and going under run a ball.
Yeah, no, under the radar is very you, Mitchell. And just quickly looking towards Namibia, I suppose not that you would have needed a reminder by Scotland, but these minor associations, they're certainly here to play, and they're dangerous teams, aren't they?
Yeah, they are for sure. Especially in T20 cricket, there's an upset just around the corner, so we've got to be ready. We've got to treat it as just another match, not look too far ahead, obviously, and and we've seen the wicket at Sharjah can be tricky, and it brings both teams back into it. So Namibia have played some good cricket, and so we've just got to be ready for that. Ready what the pitch is going to bring us tomorrow. A day game, obviously something new again at Sharjah. So we're obviously got to be ready tomorrow.
Cool. And just lastly from me before I pass it over to the media, three games in 5 days. Obviously no trainings, but what does it look like for you guys, and what are the priorities as you look to finish off the pool play?
Yeah, obviously we had a bit of a break at the start. Days between. Like you said, now it's pretty full on. And they're all day games as well. So it takes a lot out of you during the day here in Dubai and in the UAE. So the days off look like a bit of scouting, a bit of reflection, and then a lot of rest. To be fair, the work's already been done. Leading to this tournament or at the start. So now the boys are just ready to play, and when there is time to rest, you got to rest because it comes pretty quick from now, even if you make the semis and so on. So I think the guys are just a bit of pool time and a bit of recovery today, no doubt.
Cool. And actually, final question from me: how much different are you seeing the conditions? You're obviously here for the IPL. How much different are you seeing the conditions, and are they sort of changing, or have they changed from that tournament?
Yeah, I think they've changed a little bit. I think all three grounds are extremely different, and you got to be aware of that. Playing. I think Sharjah has probably got a little bit better. We saw some really low scores in the IPL. Dubai and Abu Dhabi looks very good now. So yeah, obviously being here in the IPL, being around the teams, seeing the conditions, it's obviously a benefit. Seeing what the conditions play, what works, what doesn't. You kind of relay that feedback to everyone. So as a bowling unit, you kind of know what ball works the best. And then if you have to change or go to a plan B, you're willing to adapt as well.
Thanks, mate. Over to you, Shubham.
Yeah. Hi, Mitchell.
Hey.
Generally, we see bowlers also hunt in pairs. So, how about your partnership with Sodhi? These days, becoming so effective for New Zealand and a giant killer for oppositions.
Yeah, I guess I think the benefit is me and Ish have played together for a long time now, and we've bowled in New Zealand where the wickets can be quite tricky for spinners. Small grounds, flat wickets. So really trying to find a good length, changing your pace. So when we go into these kind of tournaments where it is kind of flat. You have to kind of be at your best, and I guess we kind of work well together where, the roles, I guess, of me and him are very different in our team, depending on the surface. And we've seen a lot of cricket, I guess, and played in a few different conditions now. So it's nice.
Yeah, my another question is to you is that like you have played against played under different kind of captains like MS, Kane Williamson, and other captains in your New Zealand domestic cricket as well. So among all the captains you have played, what you have learned from your different captains, like from MS and Kane Williamson?
Yeah, I guess every captain's different in the way they approach it. Obviously, lucky enough to be around MS for three years at Chennai. I guess him and Kane are pretty similar. Keep it pretty simple, very relaxed. MS is very instinctive out there. If he feels something, he'll run with it, and generally it pans out. So yeah, obviously getting experience under different guys, different ways. They're leaders, obviously. Yeah, it's I'd say, I guess the way we're kind of set up at the moment, everyone's been around the team for a while now, and Kane, has the respect from everyone, and just kind of goes about his business and backs, everyone to perform, and there's no, I guess, added pressure behind that.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. All the best for the upcoming games.
Thank you.
Hi, Mitch. Hi, Mitch. Just wanted to ask you is that what are the adjustments that you have had to make while bowling in these UAE conditions?
Yeah, I think the biggest probably adjustment, is probably, there's obviously a bit of a difference between playing in Sharjah versus, I'd say, the other two grounds. Whereas, I guess in New Zealand, where you're looking for a bit of bounce, trying to bowl hard length into the wicket and get a bit of bounce, you don't really get that at Sharjah, and it actually kind of sits up. So I guess the guys that have done well at Sharjah are, the guys that are skiddier out the front, and kind of keeping it low. So I guess that's probably got to be the biggest adjustment for me and Ish, where, in the past you kind of look for that overspin or that bounce, whereas that's probably a little bit less effective in Sharjah. So we got to think about that going into tomorrow's game, where is it more out the front of the hand? Is it more side spinners versus that traditional overspin?
Okay, I have another question. That is, especially after India's big win yesterday. So how important does the net run rate now become?
Yeah, I think, with the nature of each group being very tight, run rate's going to play a part. I guess for us, it's just about winning the next two games, and we're through. So, I think especially at a ground like Sharjah, if you're trying to win or win by a lot, it can be quite challenging, just with the way the surface is. So I think we just got to look first at just playing our best cricket at Sharjah and beating Namibia, and then moving on from there, and then seeing what Abu Dhabi has for us against Afghanistan. But I guess that it's in our control. If we win two games, we're through. So so I don't think we need to look too much into the net run rate.